So in the first, if you talk about infrastructure as a service, so infrastructure as a service, we have hard disk, we have firewall, okay, so we have RAM, we have CPU, then we require networking, okay. So like this, we all these are nothing but the infrastructure itself: CPU, networking, firewall. Okay. Then, so this is generally used by all network administrators or system admins or database administrators. Okay, because they want the infrastructure for their applications. Okay. Then we talked about platform as a service. We call it as a PaaS, platform as a service. So this is generally used by developers. Okay, so developers platform, what they required operating system, they required hardware software tools. Okay, so there is nothing but they require a framework, or it is a framework. They require a web server. Okay, they require a database. Okay, they require all different types of tools for their product development, maybe a hardware tool or a software tool. Okay, because they are the developers, they require all this. They require database, they require web server, they require framework for creating different types of applications. Okay, so then here are software as a service like clients. Okay, software as a service. So like we have a Yahoo, we have a Gmail, we use Yahoo, Gmail and all. Okay, so for instance, there is a software on control panel. So there is software and accounting. Okay, all these are nothing but the software as a service. So this is what we have discussed so far as the different types of categories of services are concerned, whether infrastructure as a service, platform as a service. So here is nothing but the users or clients. Okay. So this is what we have discussed. Just a recap what we have discussed so far, that we have three different categories. Okay, so software as a service. You can compare this with the corresponding, like last class we have discussed about if you're ordering food item from any Zomato or Swiggy. Okay, so that is they deliver at your doorstep. So there is nothing but software as a service. If you go to the restaurant and use their ambience, furniture and all, then there is platform as a service. If you go to the restaurant and start cooking there using their infrastructure and all, that becomes infrastructure as a service. There's simple example just to understand about this concept. Okay, so in Amazon Web Services, last class we have discussed how to create instances. Okay, so we have to create an instance type. Okay, then we have created an instance of Ubuntu, and I have opened that platform or an operating system, and that is called AMI. Okay, all those operating systems. Okay, so so they are nothing but the AMI. Okay, Amazon machine image. Okay, so in that they store all operating system and supporting softwares. Okay, last class I have shown you how to create an instance. So for that you must have an account in AWS. Okay, similarly in AWS, another service related to the, so this is instances is related to the Elastic Compute Cloud EC2. Okay, similarly for storage, we have simple storage service. So that is called simple storage service. So that's why 3S is there. Okay, so this is generally used for storage. So this one we have discussed for computing facility, how you are going to acquire the computing facility from the third party like Amazon. Okay, so the computing facility, the more important thing is the operating system on which you can run your applications. Okay, so along with all the detailed configuration I have shown. Okay, how much hard disk will be required, RAM size. Okay, everything that is mentioned there. So that is free trial that I have used. Okay, so that is called as a t3.micro. Okay, there's a free tile. You won't get entire huge amount of services from that. Some minimal services they'll release for free usage. Okay. So as far as S3 is concerned, it is generally deals with storage. Okay. So in storage, they provide actually storage. So generally call it as object storage. Okay. So we call it as a object storage, and which is built for storing. When I say storage means you can upload your videos, files, whatever files you have. Okay, so you can store it and you can recover. Storing and recovering any amount of data. Okay, from anywhere. But you require internet. Okay, because in order to open Amazon aws.amazon.com, okay, you require an internet, then only you can avail those services. So we are talking about the services. We call it object storage, that is built for storing and recovering of any information that you want to store it, and you can recover from anywhere over the internet. Okay. Now here we use a concept. If you open that AWS in S3, so I mentioned that object storage. This object is nothing but data plus metadata. Okay, this is similar to what we have discussed in object-oriented concepts. If you are aware of Java or a C++. Okay, object is nothing but the data and the methods. Similarly here also, the data and the methods are nothing but a data about data. We call it as a metadata. Okay, and there we use the concept of bucket. Okay, if you open S3 in Amazon Web Service, you will find this bucket, and this bucket is going to store objects. So whatever the videos, files you have, all those can be considered as objects which will be stored in bucket. Okay, and again, so they uses data encryption. So whoever you use it, because when I say data encryption, so they'll use a public key cryptography where the private and public key. So last class we have discussed about key pair. Okay, we have public key and private key. Okay, so private key will be from the users and public key is open. Okay, so here also whatever you store, the user's data will be encrypted so that it can be used by that particular user through his private key. Okay, so and others cannot hack the data. Okay, so that's why it is very important as far as usage of this storage is concerned. Okay, they store the information in the form of buckets. Inside the buckets, whatever the files, videos you will store, that will be considered as an objects. Okay, and that will be whoever user creates an account in that and store information, the user details will be encrypted so that for security reasons. Okay, so what are the properties of this S3? That is, it is durable. Okay, it is available 24 hours, but you must have an internet for that. Okay, cost effective, huge amount of videos and files can be stored and within less cost. Scalability means you can increase the size depending on the need. Okay, and obviously security, because the data encryption is there, so security is there. Okay, so this a simple brief description about S3 is generally used for storage, where you can store your files in the form of objects and create a bucket in AWS. Okay, so you create a bucket and in that you store whatever you want to store. Okay, and whoever user is will be there, the user's data will be, or user's accounts will be encrypted so that the third party or any other intruder cannot hack your data. Okay. Similarly, we have one more concept that is there in AWS. There are plenty of services are there. Okay, one more concept, what we call auto scaling. Okay, we call it as auto scaling. Okay, so what we have discussed EC2, we have discussed S3. So EC2 is for computing facility, this is for storage, and similarly we have one more important concept called auto scaling. So if in the services in the box, if you type auto scaling, it will list. I'll show that in the emergent web services. Okay, so for instance, you have created some instances of EC2 like this. Last class I have created one instance. You can create different instances or one instance or multiple copies. Okay, for instance, these two instances are operating systems that you have created. Okay, that is EC. Okay, then here the minimum, for instance, you have created 2, and the maximum you can go up to 4, for instance. Okay, so like this you can scale, you can increase the computing facilities depending on your applications. If your application requires a huge amount of data to be processed, then you have more computing facilities. Okay, more virtual machines to be created. So this is EC2. So there are two EC2s, two instances I have created, for instance minimum 2, and for instance in a free trial I have not seen how many maximum instances you can create. For instance, they allow you to 4. So maximum 4 and minimum 2. Like this, you can auto scaling is depending on the application, you increase and decrease your computing facilities. Okay. So as far as increasing and decreasing of these computing facilities are concerned, so we have what we call manual scaling. We have scheduled scaling, and we have dynamic scaling. Okay, so manual scaling means, as I mentioned, that minimum you require 2 EC2s, then 2 EC2s you can create, and manually you can set that how many instances you want. Yesterday I have shown that I have created one instance. You can adjust that depending on application. Manually you can set how many instances you want. The configuration details also you can change. Okay, so scheduled scaling means you have to, there is some algorithm which will schedule when you want to process your information, or when you want to run application on only 2, or when you are required to run all EC2s are to be used. So that has to be scheduled. So the algorithm is written in such a manner in auto scaling that you can scale the requirement of the computing facilities. Okay, you are running one application, it will be solved by 2 EC2s. If you have multiple applications are to be run, then you have to schedule it in such a manner that today I require 2 and tomorrow I require 4. So you can set the parameters, you can schedule it. So that's why it is called as scheduled scaling. Okay, so in dynamic, so everything is done automatically. Okay, depending on the application, how much storage is required, what is the processing capability is want, depending on the application, dynamically you can switch to 2 EC2s or 4 EC2s or 5 EC2s. So that is why we have what you call auto scaling. We have different types of scaling mechanisms as far as increasing and decreasing your compute facilities provided by emergent services are concerned. Okay, and here we have some properties like fault tolerance. Fault tolerance means if one of the EC2 fails, the application will shift to other available EC2s. So that is called fault tolerance. It's not like that one EC2 is failed, so your application won't run. It's not like that. Fault tolerance means even if it is a failure, your applications will run on other machines. Okay. And this group that I've created, this group is called ASG. Okay. So auto scaling group. Okay, so we have some fault tolerance on availability. So availability is always one of the important property in cloud computing. The services are always available. Okay, and cost effective or cost management. Okay, all these properties will be there with all the services provided by the cloud providers, whether Amazon or Microsoft Azure. Okay, so the services are there in 24/7. Okay. So this is a brief I mentioned. I will show AWS S3 also. So before that, let us see some of the important applications in cloud computing or examples. Okay. So I'll show some examples that I've listed here. Okay. So these are some of the examples of cloud computing with reference to the storage. One such storage just now we have discussed, that is Amazon S3. Okay, so similarly here also we have like Dropbox, Gmail, Facebook. All these you are all acquainted with. So we have a Dropbox is the clear leader in streamlined cloud storage, allowing users to access files on any device through its application or website with up to 1 terabyte of free storage. Okay, so you are might be aware of this Dropbox. Okay, they are generally used for storage. So similarly for Google's email service provider Gmail, on the other hand, provides unlimited storage on the cloud. So Gmail has revolutionized the way we send emails and largely responsible for the increased usage of email worldwide. Okay, we have many of you are account in Gmail. We have a Google Drive. They're all part of a cloud storage. Okay. So if you have a Google Drive, then you can store huge amount of files having large size. Okay. Similarly, Facebook. Okay. So everybody has got the Facebook. Facebook is a mix of the two. So in that it can store an infinite amount of information, images, videos that you upload in your Facebook account. Okay. So they can then be easily accessed on multiple devices. Okay. Through mobile phone also you can access, through laptop, desktop. Facebook goes a step further with their messenger app. Okay, so which allows for profiles to exchange data. Okay, so there's nothing but a social site. Okay, the people have their account and they upload videos, photographs and all, so that is also acts as a storage. So we have Dropbox, Gmail from Google, then Facebook. Okay, so all are related with this storage. Similarly, there are many cloud platforms that is generally used for marketing purpose. So Post for marketing, HubSpot, Adobe Marketing Cloud. Okay, so this marketing cloud is an end-to-end digital marketing platform for clients to manage contacts and target leads. Okay, so if you want to market your product, then you can use the cloud services like Post or HubSpot or Adobe Marketing Cloud. So this Post Marketing Cloud combines easy to use marketing automation and hyper targeting of leads. So at the same time, ensuring emails actually arrive in the inbox thanks to its advanced email deliverability capabilities, etc. So a lot of properties will be there. Okay. So if you are developing any product and you want to do a worldwide marketing, then you can hire this services. Okay. So in general, marketing clouds fulfill a need for personalization, because personally you have a company and you have developed some products and you want to market that product so that it will reach each and every corner of the world. Then you use this cloud service. Okay. So nowadays, a lot of marketing you see in all these sites, whether the YouTube. So in YouTube also, when you open any video and all, you'll find in between some advertisements and all. Okay. So there's nothing but marketing the products. So apart from a lot of advertisement that you see in TVs and all. Okay. So this is important in market that demands messaging by more human. So that's why communicating that your brand is here to help. So will make all the differences in closing. Okay. Similarly in education also. So we have Byju's and so many new companies or vendors they have come in the education field. So the Slide Rocket is one such company. So education is increasing adopting advanced technology because students already are there. So in an effort to modernize classrooms, educators have introduced e-learning softwares like Slide Rocket. Okay. Similar where Rata type Amazon Web Services, they're all cloud computing platforms in the education domain. Okay. So this is generally it's a platform that students can use to build presentations, submit them. Students can even present them through web conferencing, all on the cloud. So another tool teachers uses Retatype, which helps students learn to type faster and offers online typing tests to track their progress. Okay, so there is also one such service we have. So we have Amazon Web Services as far as for school people, school administration. So AWS Cloud for K-12 and primary education features, we call it the virtual desktop infrastructure, VDI solution through the cloud, allows instructor and students to access teaching and learning software on multiple devices. Like now we are using Microsoft Team. Okay, Microsoft Team is also one such cloud platform. Okay. Similarly in healthcare, so Clear Data, Dell Secure Healthcare Cloud, IBM Cloud, we have different service providers are there. So the cloud technology ensures patient receive the best possible care without unnecessary delay. So sitting at one corner in the village, you just upload your reports, and the doctor sitting in another corner of the world can diagnose your issues, and then he can suggest and prescribe the medicines. Okay, so the patient's condition can also be updated in seconds through remote conferencing. Okay, the patients will be attached with all medical devices which record blood pressure and the sugar level and all, and that will be monitored by the doctor sitting in the remote place. Okay, so all this is available through cloud. Even most of the wearable devices nowadays, they record your blood pressure, they record your heartbeat level and all. Okay, so those information can be sent through cloud to the corresponding receiving end, where the doctors can receive through these websites, whether it's IBM Cloud or Clay Data or Dell Secure Healthcare Cloud, where the doctor can monitor as well. Okay. Then a few more examples. These examples that we have already discussed, that Salesforce is one of the important cloud provider as far as software as service is concerned, like customer relation management, similarly metal.com. Okay, plenty of such softwares they build, and they'll offer those softwares to their clients. Okay, online. So it is both a business to business and business to consumer commerce solution. Okay, software as a service. Okay, so customer relation management, metal.com, plenty of examples are there. Okay, even if you download any of the software, this Salesforce will come in between, and it will allow you to avail that services to download the software. Similarly, Cratio is there, cloud service specifically for marketing, sales, and services to manage business processes and assist companies to facilitate consumer experience and customer journey. Okay, so most of the grocery shops or super specialty markets and all, they use many softwares which are provided by Salesforce and other companies. Okay, so Cratio is also one such service provider. Then Slack is an American-based cloud service designed to facilitate internal team collaboration through its tools and services. Okay, and Google Cloud, we all use Google Cloud, a cloud service offered by Google, runs on the same infrastructure that Google uses internally for its end user product like Google and YouTube. Similarly, we have Google Colab. Okay, all these are nothing but the cloud itself. Okay, similarly in MathWorks, in MATLAB also we have ThinkSpeak, that is generally for IoT cloud. In AWS we have IoT Core, so for IoT devices. Okay, so Microsoft Office is also there. We call it Microsoft 365. Is a product line of subscription-based services such as Outlook, PowerPoint, Excel. There is also the services provided by the Microsoft. So you have Adobe Creative Cloud. So from Adobe, you is a set of applications and services from Adobe systems that gives subscribers access to various softwares used for graphic design. So if you want to design any poster, if you want to design any animation or video, so you can avail this facility: graphic design, video editing, web designing, photography, and all. Okay, so most of you are aware of Adobe Photoshop and all. Okay, so there is also a sort of service provided by the Adobe. So these are some of the applications I have listed. You will find plenty of that in different domains. Okay, so we have cloud computing in healthcare, education, marketing, financial services. Okay, everywhere cloud is there. Okay, so let me open that S3. I'll show you how the buckets are created. So I have an account in AWS, but I don't have an account in Microsoft Azure. Otherwise, I would have explained that Microsoft Azure, because Microsoft Azure requires a credit card. Okay, so if you have a credit card, then you can create an account. So here you see, so these are the services that I already shown. Services belong to different domain. Okay, so EC2 we have discussed. Now here you can type S3. So S3 is nothing but scalable storage in the cloud. Okay. So one such bucket I have created. So bucket is nothing but you can act as a container where you can store your information. Okay, you can upload your data, files, and whatever it is. Okay, so you can in the right hand side you see create bucket. It is written. Okay, so you can write bucket name. So bucket name must be unique and must not contain spaces or upper letters. Okay, for instance, BIC ECE. So these are bucket name. So I am using the data centers provided or located in Ireland, because that is only free available, because I can't choose any US or UK. They will charge. Okay. So bucket setting of block public access, and there are different types of settings are there. Okay. You can add tag. Okay. So all this is not required. Okay. Now in the you can create bucket here. So successfully created bucket BIC ECE to upload files and folders, because this is a storage. Okay, so you can upload your videos, files, and all everything you want. There is a want to store. You can upload here. Okay, so two buckets I have created. You can click here and you can upload whatever files you want to upload. Okay. So this is very simple, because you have to store. You have to store your files here. Okay. Okay, page size 100 buckets you can create. Okay. So this is very simple, nothing, because everything is done by the Amazon, but you have to create a bucket and you have to upload your videos, files, whatever you want. Some access points are there. Okay. So you can create the access point. Okay, access point name ECE, bucket name BIC ECE. Okay. So access point. So it will give a number. This one. Okay. So this is all for security purpose. Okay. Create access point. VPSC ID it is required. So console does not support accessing bucket resources using a virtual private cloud access point to access bucket resource from VPC access. Use AWS. Okay, this requires some more settings. Okay, to internet I'll create. Successfully created access point ECE. Okay, so this is my access point, and so the login is through internet itself, because VCP I have not used. Okay, so if you click here, it will show all the details. Okay, so what is the bucket name for which an access point is created? Okay, so the bucket name is BICECE. So it is created through internet. The region, the data center I've used is Ireland. Okay, other dates and Amazon resource name. So whatever the accounts and objects and instances you create, okay, it will always be associated with an ID. We call it as ARN, Amazon resource name. Okay. So now here you can upload whatever you want to upload, whatever the files you want to upload. Okay, so it will specify the size and everything. Okay. So this is how you can use the services of S3. Similarly, Amazon auto scaling, AWS AUTO, auto scaling. So auto scaling enables you to quickly scale your entire application on AWS. Okay. So I've discussed auto scaling, how to can use the facilities, how to minimize, how to increase auto scaling. Okay. So in whatever the services you want to use, for every service they have mentioned, they have given the complete documentation how you're going to use that, like Amazon EC2 auto scaling. Okay, this is what I have discussed so far. Okay, so if you want to learn anything, how it works, everything is detailed here. Okay, user guide, everything is there. You can study and you can use this. Okay. So AWS auto scaling is free. It is enabled by Amazon CloudWatch and carries no additional fees. Okay. So you configure and manage scaling for your scalable AWS resources through a scaling plan. So that's why where you want to use this auto scaling. I have talked with EC2. You can refer to other uh, services where you can apply this EC2, or depending on the services where you want to scale up or you want to increase the scalability features. Okay. So whatever the services you want to use, how to use that services will be documented, is already documented. You can go through that. Okay. So here also you see what is Amazon EC2 auto scaling. It is written, something that we have already discussed. Okay, same thing here also it is mentioned. Okay, so auto scaling groups, ASG, as I mentioned, that you create a group of EC2, okay, having 3 or 4 instances minimum to maximum, and then you set the parameters like this. See here, auto scaling group, minimum size, scale out as needed. Okay, so if you have huge amount of data to be processed and this is not processed by this two virtual machines, then this two will be added. Okay, so there is minimum size, there's a then maximum size. Okay, so then other features are already mentioned here. Okay, how you can scale this. Okay, so once you create instances, then you go for auto scaling. Okay, how to create an instance and all we have already discussed yesterday. Okay. So all these features you will find in Microsoft Azure also. If you have a credit card, you can create an account in there. Then you can check what are the services uh, Microsoft Azure actually provides. There also you can take a look. Okay. So all those services, we have storage, Internet of Things. Okay. If you want to develop some application, then developer tools are available. Okay, so developer tools are platform as a service. Okay, you see what are the developer tools here? It is listed: Amazon Code Guru, Amazon Corito, Amazon Cloud Development Kit. Okay, Cloud Artifact, Code Build, all are there in this. If you want to create any database, so if you want to create any database, you see different types of database can be created. Okay, you see AWS database service, Amazon DynamoDB, Amazon Aurora, Amazon Key Spaces. So what you have to do, if you want to, you have to take one service and you have to explore that, because so many services are there. It's not possible to learn every service. You take one, for instance, if you're choosing IoT core, or if you're choosing an EC2, or if you're choosing a database, you explore that completely. So what is actually there, how it works, everything. Okay, so don't learn small things, otherwise you will end up with uh, knowing nothing from AWS. Okay, you choose any one of your interest. If you are interested in machine learning, you then explore machine learning. If you are interested in augmented reality and AI, you explore that. If you want to explore IoT, you explore that. If you want to do data analytics, you explore any one you choose, then you try to explore. Okay, rather than checking for each and every service. Okay, because it's very difficult to learn each and every service on one go. Okay, you choose any one service, then you try to explore. Okay, so a lot of services will be there. You see, analytics, augmented reality and virtual reality, blockchain is also there, machine learning. Okay, the people who want to do machine learning, they can avail the services of machine learning. Okay, so we have quantum computing also, robotics. Okay, there's so many services are there. Okay, so database, business application, all this. Okay, most of you nowadays they are working on machine learning and all. You can see so many machine learning services are there. Okay, so you see analyze image and video. You have face recognition softwares and all associated with this Amazon recognition. Okay, if time permits, then I'll show this one also. Amazon recognition. Plenty are the AWS deep learning containers. Okay, PyTorch on AWS. Okay, AWS is generally associated with Python and all. Then PyTorch is also there. TensorFlow on AWS. TensorFlow is generally used for deep learning. Okay. So all these services are there. You can explore anything of. You must be sure in which area you want to explore. Okay, whether you want deep learning or face recognition, PyTorch on AWS, as far as machine learning techniques are concerned. Okay. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. So far we have discussed about just the brief aspects of cloud computing, because cloud computing itself is one complete semester course. Okay. So if you have any doubts or any clarification you want, you please ask. Okay. Even in neural network, if you have any doubt, you can ask. So what we have covered in cloud computing so far, we have discussed what is cloud, why cloud is required, how it is different from normal conventional computing, then what are the different models we have. Okay. I have to check whether this I have taught you or not. Okay, let me. So types of virtualization, probably I don't know whether I have discussed yesterday or not. So once you visit any of the services, then it will be listed in your AWS Management Console dashboard. So you see I have visited these. Okay, EC2, IoT Core, okay, all this. So it will be listed here itself. So you call it as AWS Management Console, aws.amazon.com/console. Okay, so you have to create an account here. Okay. So I'll check whether this. So what I want is. So during virtualization, this I have discussed application, network, desktop, and storage virtualization. I remember that this whether I have discussed this or not. Types of virtualization. Okay, so there are 4 different types of virtualizations. Virtualization we have already discussed. Okay, because that is very important concept in cloud computing. Okay, otherwise availing services is not visible. So we have different categories of the virtualization, like application, network, desktop, storage. Okay. So application virtualization helps a user to have a remote access of any application from the server. Plenty of examples that we have discussed. All these examples we have already discussed. Okay. So application virtualization, like in most of the healthcare softwares provided by IBM and other companies. So sitting in one place, you can send your reports to a doctor in another corner of the world, and he will diagnose your disease and prescribe medicines. And moreover, he can monitor if the patient is admitted somewhere in the ICU, then you will be attached with all wearable medical devices that will be monitored from remote area also. Okay, so the application virtualize helps the user to have a remote access to an application from a server, so the doctor can access the information. So this server stores all personal information and other characteristics of the application, but can still run on local workstation through internet. Okay, like in Google Colab. So Google Colab, I don't know whether you people are aware of Google Colab. Okay, I'll show that. So example of this would be user who needs to run two different versions of the same software. So technologies that use application virtualization are hosted applications and packaged applications. Okay, so if you have virtualization concept, then two different operating system, you can create instances and two different applications you can run on the same physical device. Okay. So similarly, in network virtualization, when I say network, there are all network devices like router, switch, hub, and all on one particular network. Then on that, you can create several instances of the network through virtualization. Okay. So nowadays, everywhere they use, most of the IT industries nowadays, they are working on cloud itself, because they are not going to huge. They are not going to invest huge amount of money in setting their data centers, okay, or creating their network by purchasing all network devices. They just give it to the third party vendor, and they'll access their services through virtualization. So the ability to run multiple virtual networks with each has a separate control and data plan, and it can exist together on the top of one physical network. So we have one more concept called software defined network. Okay, so your network will be handled by the software, okay, as a controller. So it can be managed by individual parties that potentially confidential to each other. Okay, because the network virtualization provides a facility to create and provision virtual networks. Okay, like we create a virtual machine, similarly you can create a virtual network. Okay, one physical network will be there. On the top of that, virtually you create multiple networks. So when you create multiple networks, obviously when I say network, there must be switches, routers, firewalls, okay, hubs, VPN, all network devices should be there. So you can share one laptop. A laptop of your friends can be shared by others as well. Okay, so we call it a desktop virtualization, and we have many softwares for this. Okay, where I can access your desktop remotely. Okay. So desktop virtualization allows the user's operating system to be remotely stored on a server in the data center, and it allows the user to access their desktop virtually from any location by different machine. Okay, if you have your system is there, I can access your system through that particular desktop virtualization software. Okay. So users who want specific operating system other than Windows Server will need to have a virtual desktop. Okay. So main benefits of desktop virtualization are user mobility, portability, easy management of software installation, updates, patches, etc. Okay. So similarly, storage we have already discussed. Storage virtualization is an array of servers that are managed by virtual storage system, and the servers aren't aware of exactly where the data is stored, and instead function more like worker bees in a hive. Okay. So S3 is one such storage that we have used. Similarly, in Microsoft Azure also. Okay, the Dropbox and all, Dropbox, Gmail. So it makes managed storage from multiple sources to be managed and utilized as a single repository. Okay, we have created buckets and we have dumped our information. Okay. So this is what about virtualization. Probably I don't know whether yesterday I've covered this or not. Okay. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. I'll upload the slides once. Let me compile sequentially, so that I can upload it so that you can read this. Okay. So all these different types of categories of virtualization that I've shown, I've shown storage application. Similarly, network virtualization, there are different softwares are there. Okay. So we can you can explore those virtualization software. Okay, so you can Google it, you'll get many such softwares. Okay, so I suggest you to Google different categories of the virtualization softwares. VirtualBox I've already mentioned. Okay, similarly storage also I have shown S3 of Amazon. Similarly, you get Azure. So network virtualization and desktop virtualization. Desktop virtualization also there's some freely available softwares are there. Okay, and probably Skype is one such example. Okay, Skype, even Zoom can also be used like this. Okay, for meetings where you can share your desktop while presenting or giving some presentations. Okay, all uh, these platforms that we have, Zoom or even in Microsoft Teams. Okay, where desktop can be shared through virtualization. Okay. Similarly, storage virtualization we have already discussed. What what is more important is the network virtualization. So what are the softwares you can explore through Google? Okay. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Akanksha is there?
Yes, sir.
आवाज बहुत धीमा आया. नाश्ता नहीं किए क्या? नाश्ता नहीं किए? हाँ? आकांक्षा?
नहीं सर, अभी तक नहीं किया.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay, you can have your breakfast. Those who have not. Okay. अब तो लॉकडाउन चल रहा है तो सब धीमा ही चलेगा. ठीक है. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can just prepare a list so that we can discuss in the next class. So meanwhile, take care. Bye bye. Okay, wait. Attendance. Let me download your attendance. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. I'll meet you in the
Thank you,
next
sir.
week. Okay, take care. Bye.
Thank you.